Welcome to WNFM 104.3, your go-to rock station. Rock all day, rock all night. Hard rock, fast rock, just the rock. Well, look who's still awake. Maybe you're stuck on the late shift, battling insomnia, or you just like hearing my voice a little too much to call it a night. Whatever your reason, welcome back. This is Everett, your nightlight in the static, broadcasting live from the second floor of Rosie's Diner. We're right above the deep fryer and just to the left of Dignity. You're tuned in to WNFM 104.3, the only station in town with more vinyl than working microphones, and more opinions than actual listeners. But hey, if nothing else, we're consistent. It's 12:03 a.m. on a Tuesday or maybe Wednesday, depending on how your night's been going. Time gets a little blurry after midnight, especially if you've been lying awake wondering if you remembered to pay the water bill. Spoiler alert, you didn't. But that's tomorrow. Everett's problem. Let's take a quick look at what's happening in our charming little town. Word is, the Midwich High Marching Band is holding their annual Caramel Apple fundraiser outside Cutler's Market this Saturday. Bring some cash, a bit of patience, and definitely floss. Those apple sticks are tougher than your cousin Larry's third divorce. All proceeds go toward new uniforms and fixing the saxophone Gerald crushed last week. On Civic News, Mayor Hanley has declared war on potholes. Again, crews were spotted earlier today on Nathan Avenue, heroically placing cones around a giant crater and then disappearing by lunchtime. We appreciate your service, gentlemen. May your shovels stay sharp and your excuses remain printable. Elsewhere, a new sandwich shop is finally opening up on Finley Street, right where the old pet store used to be. It's called Grain and Bone, which either sounds like a bakery or a final boss in a gluten-free RPG. Either way, they're open late, they accept cards, and according to my sources, the tuna melt is probably not lethal. Probably. On a more personal note, I discovered this morning that the breakroom toaster now only works if you jam a spoon in just right and say a prayer to St. Jude, which, come to think of it, is kind of how I handle dating too. Alright, time for some music in a bit. Carl requested something loud with a guitar solo that could melt concrete. Trudy asked for Bonnie Tyler again. Look, I don't make the requests, I just cue the tapes and try not to spill coffee on the mixer. Stick around. Coming up next, your local classifieds, a weather update based mostly on vibes, and a call from Dennis ... who wants to talk about his neighbor's rooster. Again, heaven help us. You're listening to WNFM 104.3, where the coffee's burnt, the phones are moody, and the host hasn't slept since '07. I'm Everett. Don't go anywhere, unless you're bringing snacks. Music fade in and out, 12:08 a.m. if you're just joining us. Welcome back to the only radio show in town still held together with duct tape, cold coffee, and sheer stubbornness. This is Everett, live from the top floor of Rosie's Bar, where the pie is still decent, the coffee is still questionable, and the bathroom key now requires 2 forms of ID. Let's talk weather. Apparently it's December now, though no one's told the sky. We've had fog for 5 straight nights, not the gentle kind from postcards either. I mean thick heavy fog, the kind that makes your headlights feel like liars. Ever seen a street lamp glow like it's ashamed to be seen? That's Nathan Avenue tonight. And don't get me started on the temperature. Cold in the morning, hot by lunchtime, and by evening you're sweating through a hoodie like you just committed perjury. Feels like the weather's got mood swings. I'd file a complaint, but I'm not even sure who's in charge anymore. Ran into Mrs. Langston outside Cutler's yesterday. Sharp woman, been running that flower shop longer than most of us have been alive. But when I asked how business was, she just looked past me and said, the tulips keep whispering at night. So either she's overtired or I finally found someone else who talks to their plants and actually gets answers. Then there's Ted from the hardware store. Always wore the same red flannel, pressed neat every day. Yesterday though, he walked in wearing a poncho and 2 left shoes. Said it was for balance. Folks in town have been acting a little off lately, don't you think? Everyone's walking around with this weird look like they forgot something important but can't remember what. Just glazed eyes and nervous energy. Feels like somebody hit pause on the whole town. But someone forgot to notify our bodies. Maybe it's the pressure, maybe it's the fog, or maybe hear me out, we've finally exhausted all small talk and our brains are just rebooting. If you see me tomorrow, wandering around mumbling and trying to remember where I left my truck, don't worry. I'm just adjusting like the rest of you. Alright, let's take a quick look at the community board. Bingo nights moved from the church basement to the civic center while they replaced the furnace. The annual chili cook-offs postponed due to what officials are calling ambiguous weather, and Roger at the bait shop claims he caught a trout with oddly human teeth. Then again, Roger also believes Bluetooth gives you worms, so interpret that however you'd like. Coming up after the break, your usual song requests, the return of my award-winning segment, Conspiracy Corner with Carl, and a short rant on why putting ketchup on mac and cheese is unacceptable. Spoiler, it's because it makes you a monster. You're listening to Everett, and this is WNFM 104.3. Stay warm, stay alert. And if the guy at the post office asks about a third moon, just nod and slowly walk away. Well, look at that, we made it. May's nearly out the door, school's wrapping up, and the air smells like sunscreen and bug spray again. That's right, summer's limping back into town like an uncle with too many stories and not enough change. This is Everett, broadcasting live from the second floor of Rosie's Diner, where the ceiling fan wobbles just enough to make you uneasy, and the cherry pie's back for the handful of you still sporting a full set of teeth. I know what you're thinking: warm weather, cold drinks, and questionable life choices, just as intended. But, wouldn't you know it, the fog is back. Not the blinding apocalyptic kind we saw last winter, the kind where your GPS gives up. This new fog's more ... polite. It lingers at the tree line, keeps to itself, doesn't ask much as a little space and your quiet discomfort. It's like the fog started seeing a therapist and learned boundaries. Still, it's strange. May used to be our clearest month. You could see straight across the lake. Now you're lucky if you can see your lawn without squinting like an old cowboy. Saw Ricky mowing his yard yesterday, headlamp on, compass in hand, like he was bushed through a national park. Now I'm not saying it'll ruin summer, but the fog sure acts like it owns the place. Might have to move the July 4th fireworks indoors. Nothing says freedom like sparklers in a gym. Don't forget the annual Tuka Lake Boat Parade. Still set for the last Saturday of June, assuming visibility holds up and nobody ends up in another koi pond. If this fog interrupts my plans to sit in a folding chair sipping iced tea and pretending to care about cornhole, I will write a stern letter to whichever deity handles the seasons. In other updates, Crane and Bone, the sandwich shop on Finley, just launched their summer menu. It now features a cucumber mojito hoagie. Not sure if that's food or a silent plea for help. I'll try one Friday and report back, assuming it doesn't awaken something I can't put back. Coming up, summer requests, a weather update that may or may not be lifted from the Farmer's Almanac, and a live call from Darlene, who claims her tomato plants are now fluent in French. So that's exciting. You're listening to Everett on WNFM 104.3, a trusted source for late-night rambling, light fog, and emotionally inconsistent weather. Stay cool, stay hydrated, and please don't wear flip-flops to the post office. Let's try to keep some standards. 12:09 a.m. If you're hearing this, congrats. You've survived another day of the greatest seasonal joke. Summer in this town. It's 89% humidity, 0 wind, and the fog's thick enough to spread with a butter knife. This is Everett speaking to you from above Rosie's Diner, where the AC is down again and the jukebox has been stuck on dust in the wind for 3 hours, which, let's be honest, is a little too on the nose lately. Not trying to alarm anyone, but we're on day 19, maybe 20 of full-time fog. I stopped counting after my windows started sweating and the porch began growing moss. Saw a squirrel wipe out of my driveway like it hit black ice. Remember how I said the fog seemed polite in May? Forget it. This version has presence. You open the door, and it feels like someone's just standing there, not doing anything, just waiting. Took a walk down Bachman Road yesterday to stretch my legs. I swear the old pharmacy had its lights on. That place has been shut down since 2003, and not flickering light either, fluorescent, steady. Someone's reading a magazine kind of light. Maybe I need glasses, or sleep, or to stop eating those glowing gas station burritos. Anyone else notice how people are acting strange? Stopped by the post office, and the clerk just stared at me, didn't blink, didn't say a word, just looked at me like I was a magic trick she couldn't figure out. Asked if something was on my face, nothing. Just silence and a 1,000-yard stare that said, I've seen things. And they were sorting bulk mail. Even Rosie at the dinosaur, Rosie, who's cooked more bacon than I've had hot meals, asked me if I felt the bones under the lake. Not a lot of ways to follow that up. Anyway, let's check the weather. It says sunny, high of 81. Sure, you could practically serve this fog in a bowl with croutons. If you've seen the sun recently, congratulations, you may qualify for sainthood. Asterisk, we'll take some calls after the break, assuming the phones cooperate. They've been weird lately. Earlier tonight I picked up and said, WNFM, you're on the air. All I heard was breathing. Long, steady, close. No background noise. Just breath like someone was standing inches from the mic. I hung up. That's above my pay grade. But hey, maybe they were just excited for the summer playlist. Up next, song requests. A reminder that the farmer's market is cancelled this week. Visibility issues and a story from Carl about how his lawnmower now only starts when he's angry. Honestly, that checks out. This is Everett, and you're listening to WNFM 104.3. Stay safe, stay sensible, and maybe leave your porch light on tonight, just in case. Okay, you're still tuned into WNFM. I think I'm still Everett. Still, up here, still talking, still doing the thing. If you're hearing this, maybe call in, just so I know I'm not yelling into the void. It feels like I just sat down. I swear. I remember pouring my coffee, checking the playlist, but now it's cold, ice cold, like it's been sitting here for hours. And the clock, still stuck at 7:07. It's been 7:07 for I don't even know how long. And here's the strange part. I went for a walk earlier to clear my head, and the place was empty. Completely empty. No texts, no engineers, no Rosie with pie, just quiet chairs and dead air. But I can still hear people. I swear I hear voices in the hallway, not whispers, actual conversations, laughter, doors opening, footsteps, but every time I check, nothing, just silence. I tried the front door, locked and not like forgot the key, locked. I mean, sealed. Like the frame itself won't budge. I even kicked it. And you know me, I don't kick things unless they insult my mother. I don't know how long I've been here. I mean, I know it's summer, the fog's still thick, curling under the windows like smoke, but I haven't seen any cars lately. No lights outside, just white, like we're floating in milk, like the rest of the world got erased. I'm not even sure I'm still on the air. Maybe the signal's gone. Maybe I'm just talking to myself, some guy alone in a diner booth with a mic and a brain full of static. But if anyone is out there, please call in. Just once, that sounds back again, like a TV left on in the next room. Just loud enough to know something's off. It fades in and out. And wait, do you hear that? ... No, not that again. The clock's still frozen. The calendar says July 18th. But I swear I've seen the pages fall off twice. Now ... the windows are ... wrong. That's not fog anymore, it's smoke, ash ... It presses against the glass like it's breathing. I saw a handprint earlier, 5 fingers small. It just stayed there for an hour, then slid down, leaving a trail. I haven't heard from anyone. The phones are still dead. The lights flicker when they want. And the hallway outside the booth, it's changing. That used to be 12 feet long. Now it looks more like 40. I opened the door and it was just red brick, rust, rebar. The walls look like they're bleeding. I heard my name whispered in the static, and I swear it wasn't my voice. Okay, I think we're back on air. I can't really tell anymore. This is Everett, and you're listening to WNFM March 104. I think, broadcasting live from Rosie's Diner. How long have I been here? If anyone can hear this, something's wrong. This isn't normal. I'm doing my best to stay together, but the gear's acting up. The monitors flash on their own. The mic was already hot when I came in tonight, and I swear to you I haven't left the booth. Not once, but I don't remember coming in either. It feels like I've always been here. You left her alone. What? You left her alone, Everett? I don't know what you're talking about. You said you'd be right back. How do you know that? What's happening? This isn't a bit. This isn't a show I'm stuck in. No, not that. Not that sound. Not again. I don't know what day it is anymore. The clock's broken. Maybe time just gave up around here. I found a bottle in the bottom drawer, little dusty. Been saving it, told myself I'd open it when I retired. Whatever that meant, but you know what? Forget it. Whoever's still listening, if anyone is, this one's for you. If no one is, well, at least I'm finally being honest. I used to be someone else before I came here. Before I became the guy with the late night jokes, the weather, the vinyl spins. I had a life, or I was trying to. Anyway, her name was Rachel. Smart, tired, beautiful in a quiet way, the kind you only notice when she laughs at something you didn't think was funny. She had a daughter, Elise, 6 years old, didn't look like her mum, but acted just like her. Big smile, bright laugh, wore those little pink shoes with the light-up heels, ran like she was trying to leave the whole world behind. They didn't have much, neither did I, but for a while we had something real, something good. We moved in together. I asked Rachel to marry me. I told her I wanted to adopt Elise, not because I had to, because I wanted to, and I meant it. God help me, I did. And then came that Thursday. Rachel had to stay late at work. Elise had gymnastics after school and asked me to pick her up. It was the first time she'd ever asked. Of course, I said, yeah, I got it, no problem. I'll be right back. The truth, there was a football game on Thursday night. Some random rivalry game I didn't even care about. I told myself I'd just stop by the bar near Bachman with some friends, grab a drink, catch the score, hang out a bit. I had time, but I lost track of it. Started talking to a guy at the bar about linebackers and bourbon. Ordered some wings. Didn't even notice the sun had gone down. Rachel left work early, didn't even finish closing up. Told her boss something came up and rushed out. It was raining heavily. The roads were slick. I didn't know until my phone buzzed a single text, just 6 words, you left her alone, Everett. That was the last thing she ever said to me. Music fades in. They found the car off the road, just past the Paleville turn. Rachel died instantly. Elise was still alive when they pulled her out. They said she passed in the ambulance. I never saw them again. Music fades. I told people I was stuck in traffic. Blamed the weather. Told Rachel's family I got there just minutes too late. Even faked a voicemail from the school to make it seem like they forgot to call me. Nobody questioned it. Nobody called me a liar. Except me. Every single day. After that, I came here, to this town. Didn't plan on it. I just started driving and ended up on the edge of Luca. Stayed because, I don't know, something about it felt right, like it didn't care who I used to be. But now music resumes softly. Now the station's falling apart. The floor seems to move. The hallway just loops endlessly. I hear things, voices, whispers, static, saying my name. Even when I'm not touching the mic, I still don't know what's going on. Still don't know where I am or why the doors won't open. But the bottles, halfway empty, and I'm still breathing, so I'll keep talking at least until something tells me to stop. Music builds slightly. Rachel Elise, if somehow you can hear this, if the signal somehow gets through, I'm sorry. I truly am. I left you alone. I did, and I've been running from that moment ever since. I don't know what comes next, but I'm not going anywhere. Not this time. Pause. Music fades out. That was the final broadcast of WNFM 104.3. The fog rolls, deep tapes. They were discovered by a demolition crew who claimed they heard a radio still playing somewhere in the buildings despite it having no power. When they broke through the damaged subfloor, they found a sealed room, a broadcast desk, an old microphone, and a single chair facing a boarded-up window. But here's where it gets strange. There's no record of a radio station ever being registered there. No listing for WNFM 104.3. No broadcast license, no tax files, no maintenance history. Nothing. In fact, no record exists of a man named Everett Langley ever working in radio. No ID, no employment records, not even a missing person report. As far as anyone can tell, he never existed. And Rosie's Diner, the ground floor, was still standing, but the supposed second floor where the booth would have been had no stairwell, no framing, no trace of ever having existed. To this day, no one can explain the tapes or how a voice that was never meant to be heard somehow made its way through the static and into our hands. And maybe that's the point. You left her alone.